Our little homestead is bustling with life now that it's spring, and it's full of both people and stuff to do. Lately I've had many come around to help, and you might have wondered who they all are, so I thought I would give them a proper introduction. My neighbor's grandchild and jack of all trades, Victor, is making sure that I stay on top of the game. He beats my energy any day of the week. Lately his twin brother, Oscar, has been helping out too, doubling up the speed of checking things off the list. My nephew and the owner of Hen Snowstorm, Olle, has now also adopted one of the lambs and comes for a visit as often as possible. And thanks to my sister Sarah, we got a kickstart on a seating area outside of the greenhouse, and my mom came out to finish the compost build that I started in March. Grandmother of the twins, Inga, is my nearest neighbor and my go-to person for anything sheep and knitting related. And then of course there's Daniel and myself. And I am tackling the largest potato plot ever, determined to get them all in the ground ASAP. Gick de rakt på den? We've got some really warm weather, so I had to take a break in the middle of the day. It was just way too hot to be working, but now it's nice again. Victor and his brother Oscar came by briefly and decided they wanted to give the sheep some extra grass to chew on, so now I've got them right next to me, which is really fun. There's always something happening when they're around. I'm really happy about this little pond right now because there's only been 10 millimeters of rain in April and groundwater levels are really low in, I think, all of Sweden, but in particular in the south. So yeah, this water I use to water the gardens, and then I'll take water from the well for the animals and myself. Yeah, I'm really happy I have it. Oh, something's wrong. I have chosen potato varieties of different sorts, so some will be early, some will be late, some will be somewhere midsummer. Not midsummer, but summer at least. The one sort of potato that I've chosen to plant most of is hardy against the potato mold. I'm not sure if it's called potato mold, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So I've planted six kilograms of that, and that should give plenty of potatoes, I hope. And it's called Connect. It was the potato of the year in Sweden a while ago. Det var det.
Att ta ut sig en centimeter till.
Mm. I liked 1 centimeter of this piece of wood. Immediately I thought, okay, I have to go to the shop to get a new piece. But then I thought, whatever, I'm just gonna add this little extra piece up there, and I don't think it's gonna be super visible once it's been painted, so. Without you good enough. Ah! Vi får se. Vad? Jo då. Ah, vad bra. These are some of the old trims for the floor. I reuse some for the other room as well, and I think this is going to be enough. I hope so. It's not going to be enough. But I do know one more spot where there are trims. It's in the sheep house. I'm going to go and have a look. I spend about an hour out here, sometimes more, every day, just to get all the beds ready for planting. A lot of stuff is still in pots, waiting to be planted out. Something it's way too early for, so still got some time. And it's really lovely in evenings like this. So now that the sewage system is like almost in place, it means that we have no toilet. Well, we have a temporary toilet set up, and we're gonna start to compost our waste. I don't want to call it waste because it actually becomes like manure in the end. So it's a good use of resource, I think. If you live in Sweden, I don't know about the rules in other places, but then you must apply usually for permission to compost your waste. And yeah, I got permitted to build my own compost bins, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Man måste ju ändå hålla fast den, men handen långt ute. Ja. Så jag tror risken är också att den slår. Ja, det var jättebra. Ja. De ändarna fått också på det. Jo, det var bra. Han lyckas med. Ja då. Jag har någon så sjukt mycket. Alltså för det är så, han säger allt som ska göras. Och vill göra det. Ja, det tittar ju helt det är jättesött. Roligt liv. Ja. Lite kuttare. Lite kuttare. Jag kan sitta fast. I'm adding a bottom to this compost, which is not something I would generally do in a compost, but that was something I had to do according to the rules when composting poop. So yeah, I opted for something in rubber rather than plastic because I'm a little bit afraid that once you have a plastic bottom and it starts to break down, you'll have microplastics in the composted stuff. So it's a pretty thick rubber mat. So I think that should do the job. Nej, det vill jag inte. Nej, jag håller inte i om inte det är korrekt. That's the compost bin done. It needs a kind of rain-proof roof, a little bit of ventilation, and then once it's time to empty it, which will be, I guess, in 2 years, I'll just screw up the front. I'm actually really glad that the municipality agrees for like DIY compost bins, because otherwise you would be forced to buy one of those like big plastic thingies. And I just think it feels so much better to use wood. And I'm gonna paint this as well. For a while, Snowstorm and the other chicken that goes with her started laying eggs in the pig's house, but today there wasn't any. I've also seen them hang out with them in the paddock. So probably when the pigs dig around and they leave some food leftovers and stuff like that, the chickens love that. So it's kind of cool if they become friends. I really prefer screwing trims rather than nailing, even if nailing leaves a nicer finish. But I think that the screws make it so much tighter so that there is no gaps between whatever you're screwing it onto. Now I'm just going to plaster the holes, do a final coat of paint, and then I think I can call this room more or less done. After that, depending on the weather, I will be continuing outside, taking down the old facade, wooden panels, and adding insulation and then new wood paneling. That's at least the goal for the summer, and then obviously painting the house and stuff like that. So we'll see about the weather. If the weather turns out shite, then I guess I'll continue to insulate from the inside in the summer as well. So, once my vegetables are just out there growing, I can turn my attention to the renovation again. So, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.